Hey everybody, it's me, Coach, and I'm with
Daniel.
Okay, and we're gonna be presenting chapter 23 to you. Chapter 23 is the 1920s. So Daniel, what do you think of when you hear the 1920s?
I think of a lion, so it's like a type of roar.
Okay, so the Roaring Twenties, right?
Yeah.
And so Daniel says things with lion. Maybe even like the MGM logo where the guy comes, right? And it's all about being strong. Now we're gonna talk about a lion in two different ways. This roar can be the strength that's showing you that I'm bigger and I'm stronger than you are, that positive kind of roar. But it also could be a roar from having pain. So, for example, this is a push pin. I'm going to put this push pin in my hand. If I was a little lion, I stepped on it, I'm like, I'm growling. And that could be from the pain that I'm dealing with. So the 1920s are almost like a roller coaster ride. We're going to start off really, really high, and then we're going to fall down, literally. In 1929 when the stock market crashes, all right? So remember, the 20s start off like a lion, and they kind of go out like a lamb, all right? So speaking of 1920s, what major world event ends in 1919?
World War One.
Okay, cool. And so, who wins that? Who do we call the winner of that particular war?
Well, we can call the United States a winner because we ended up going in late, so that gave us like less damage to like the deaths and less damage to us, and then everyone ended up owing us money at the end.
Yeah. So the rest of Europe is not. I shouldn't say all messed up. That's not academic language. Europe has been damaged physically, emotionally, and needs to be repaired. The United States now has a situation where they can go out and contract and become the rebuilders of Europe in some capacity, right? In addition to that, a lot of the allies owe us money, right? And so, and another thing is Germany falls down. Now, when Germany and Russia start to fall apart, guess what? There were 5, 6 big countries in the world at the time, right? The United States, France, UK, Germany, Russia. Russia has a situation where it has its revolt, and now they're not as strong as they used to be, right? Now they're the Soviet Union, and they're going to build back up, but right this second, they're not super strong. Also, Germany isn't strong. They're not allowed to be strong. So the United States wins World War I, and when you win a war, you usually have a lot of money and prestige that come with it, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how that helps us as a country. First thing, people start using credit. It is insane how much credit people get involved in. And we all know credit. Credit is when you say, I will pay you later for something, right? So I wish I had my wallet with me, but I would take out one of my credit cards that I probably shouldn't even have, right? And spending too much money. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
And you pay for it. So, for example, Daniel, you want a car sooner or later, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want a car going to for freshman year of college, the average car right about now maybe 15 to 20,000. You got that kind of money lying around?
Not really.
So what are you going to have to do?
Either get a loan or go and like pay it off.
Pay it off through a loan. There's no matter what, still going to be a loan, right? They're going to say, well, you take it, you put a down payment, and you're going to have to pay us back with interest, right?
Yeah.
Well, the 1920s is the beginning of this gigantic credit system that goes through our country, and it runs rampant, right? In addition to the credit system, it's the second industrial revolution. Oh my God. We go through the first industrial revolution around the Civil War, right? And we talked about how we start building new technologies. Remember about the Civil War? The Civil War movie, and we can see like the new trains and all that, and the new guns and everything. Man, the 1920s changed everything up. Guess what we start making? What is this super cool thing that we make that I was just talking about?
The welfare capitalism.
Well, let's before we go to welfare capitalism, which is good because it's going to be our next step. Let's talk about cars. Think about it. The 1920s
assembly line.
Boom. Cars, assembly line. It's the first time that you have things being mass produced. All right. So again, you have credit. So you have people who have money. Then you have an industrial revolution making products so that people can buy them. And then you have welfare capitalism. Let's talk about this. Daniel, what do you think of when you hear welfare?
Welfare, I think of giving money, or not away, like giving money to people who need it.
Like EBT, right?
Yeah.
You're broke, you get government money, right?
Yeah.
Well, the capitalism usually comes from private industry, right? So your welfare isn't the same kind of welfare I'm going to talk about, but it's very close. So welfare is like your well-being. In welfare capitalism, you have a situation where big companies have lost a lot of ground. In the 1890s and the early 1900s, the labor unions were so strong that they were in a position where they were actually beating out or getting over on the big businesses. So the big businesses are like, how do we get these people to do what? come back into the fold with us and be part of what we do, easiest way to do that is to start taking care of everything for them. So they actually were nicer to their employees, gave them more financial benefits so that they wouldn't have to deal with strikes and things of that nature. So in the 1920s, not only are you able to get more credit, you're actually going to get paid more at your job. Also, you're going to be able to invest in your business. So imagine Daniel owns a car company. It's called I Don't Comb My Hair Car Company, right? And they say, Aaron, they come to me and say, Aaron, if you want to own a small piece of the company, invest in us. Are you kidding me? That's wonderful. I invest. If everything works, well, then I get something out of it, right? What's that going to make me do? It's going to make me work harder. So it's like a trick almost. It's not a horrible thing, but it's like invest in a company with your money. If everything works financially with that company, you'll get that money back 2, 3, 4, 5-fold. So I'm going to work even harder because I feel like I'm part of the company. So the book uses the word paternalistic, and paternalistic means that it is like something that comes from like a fatherly figure. So the company almost becomes like your dad and takes care of everything for you. So that's how we start the 1920s. And so I want us to really think about that and think about how now the modern corporation is built. You don't have the small mom and pop stores. You don't have these itty bitty things. Now you start having gigantic companies. Sears Roebuck is coming up at this time, right? The Sears company that's actually so sad is dying away right now. Yeah. Companies like JCPenney are building themselves up at that time. Companies like Ford Motor Car are building themselves up. Dodge. Have you ever seen the Dodge commercials? They talk about how the Dodge brothers left Ford Motor Company, right? And so you have the new corporation. Daniel brought up this thing called the assembly line, right? Yeah. So if Daniel, let's make a watch. So you see my Fitbit watch thingy? Let's make a watch, right? Now, in the old school system, you would need a expert watchmaker. I mean, look at all this intricate stuff and green light stuff flashing, right? And so what you'll need to do in this case is you'd have to spend 2, 3, 5, 10 hours doing it hand by hand, piece by piece. In the new assembly line system, they teach me rubber. All I need to know how to do is cut rubber. They teach Daniel how to create the face. They teach the imaginary person next to us how to create the heart rate monitor, right? Just small pieces. And so now they just go step by step by step and we're done, flying down the line. It's like a conveyor belt. I don't have to be an expert anymore. Guess what that's going to lead to? Immigration. You're gonna need what? Low skilled workers, right? Yeah. And guess what? World War I just happened, and a lot of people left Europe. Boom. And in addition to immigration, you're going to have black migration because you have the great migration of people from the South coming to the big cities. And so think about the 1920s again. Let's go back and recap. Finish World War I, have a lot of money and a lot of national pride. Corporations are being supported by the federal government and by the presidency, and they're using welfare capitalism to get their employees to work even harder than they used to. There's a new system of assembly lines and a new system of the second industrial revolution. So products are getting put into the market and people are now using a credit system and they're making more money. And you have a bunch of immigrants and migrants coming into the country and actually increasing the production of the country. Sounds good, huh? Very. Sounds good. So that's the introduction video. We're going to do the next one in a little bit. All right, thank you.